Reese, the Director of Columbus Recreation and Parks Department. Today we're here to discuss the city's capital improvements budget. I'm excited to talk about the budget today, and our capital budget makes historic investments to benefit all residents in our city. It supports projects that enhance and access to recreational spaces for residents across the city and to increase our safety. For example, we've invested approximately $1 million in improvements to this center and this park. This will allow us to offer more youth-focused programming. That's something critical to support our children who need it most right now. Improvements include technology, AV equipment, upgrades to our interior facility rooms, updated lighting, and new electronic basketball scoreboards that will make the gymnasium a great place to stay active. We're also looking at adding an additional $20,000 in enhancements to Fairwood Park, which consists of lighting within the park to increase safety. Our parks are safe, and more lighting is even a greater deterrent to crime. This has been a long-standing request by this community, and we hear you, and we are happy to provide some additional safety measures. Approximately $75,000 in improvements to Lincoln Park will enhance the overall park experience for our visitors. This will include an addition of a pedestrian trail, a new hard surface to be used for soccer, futsal, camp, and after-school programming. Also, we will resurface the parking lot and upgrade our drainage systems. At Deschler Park, we're including $20,000 to be added. This is adding an open-air shelter, making improvements to the parking lot and the entry of that park. This will encourage the neighborhood, family, and friends to gather. The open-air shelter is another example of how we're responding to the feedback from our residents. And finally, we will develop the concept for a redesigned pool here at Marion Franklin, right over here to my left. And I know we're excited about that. This community has been asking for it, and we hear you. This is another step in our efforts to improve our aquatics facilities across the city. These are just a few of our projects included in the capital improvements budget. And with these enhancements, it improves the quality of life for all our residents. Mayor Ginther, our mayor for the city of Columbus, will come and further discuss our capital budget.
Thanks, Director.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director, and thank you so much. It's great to be back here in Marion Franklin. Some of the conversations that have been taking place for probably the better part of a year or so have happened in a couple of different meetings here at the center, and was so happy that part of our State of the City follow-up neighborhood meetings, one of them was here, and we just had a more recent conversation a few weeks ago, and all of those conversations really helped to inform so much of the capital budget. I want to thank, we're going to hear from Becky Walcott, who is the chair of the Greater Southside Area Commission, Far South Area Commission, and Sheila Eubanks, who's the vice chair, is here. Robert Patterson, who's the president of the Marion Franklin Civic Association. Robert Mader, who's a great volunteer and a retiree of the city. We're so thankful for his service. And Lori Fisher, who's also part of the Area Commission. These are the neighborhood and community leaders who have put so much work, time, and energy into getting us to where we are today. And I want to thank all of our departments and their staff. I know Director Gallagher, Director Reese, and all of their teams. So grateful for all the work that they've put into this. $1.74 billion is going to go towards critical public safety, affordability, and neighborhood infrastructure out of this capital budget. We're making historic investments in our residents, their health and well-being, and the economic vitality of our community. I always say that my top three priorities are neighborhoods, neighborhoods, neighborhoods. and this capital budget reflects that. This includes $1.1 billion in new funding, along with $633 million in carryover funds, paving the way for pivotal advances like new crime-fighting tools and technology, a new police substation, a new fire station, and new fire apparatus. More affordable housing, street resurfacing, and so much more. Here are some notable projects made possible by this budget. We've got $5 million for ATF safety funding to better track and pursue illegal crime guns in our city. We announced this when ATF Director Dettelbach visited our community earlier this year. $10 million for fire apparatus like ladders, engines, and ambulances. This is up from the $6 million we typically budget in a given year. There's also $23 million for a new Hilltop police substation on Sullivan Avenue between Townsend and Columbian Avenues, and a new North Side Fire Station 36. That'll go up at Central College in Harlem near Northeast Columbus to take on the growing demand for service in an area of Columbus that continues to see substantial growth. On top of that, we've got $50 million set aside for affordable housing, including $20 million to increase the number of new and rehabbed affordable housing units, $11.5 million to support and expand home ownership opportunities and promote mixed-income neighborhoods, $13 million to preserve existing affordability, such as grants that cover the cost of essential safety home repairs, and $5.5 million for housing designed to serve low-income populations. There's also $37 million for street resurfacing, which extends the life of our roads and minimizes the need for more extensive, costly repairs in the future. This represents an 18% increase in spending over last year on resurfacing, a strategy informed by consistent, extensive evaluations of city streets by our Department of Public Service. These improvements are joined by $25 million in roadway and intersection upgrades, as well as $14 million for pedestrian safety and bikeway projects. And then there are the unseen investments in utilities, like sewer and water, that are critical to daily life but often go unnoticed because they're reliable, functional, and always there when you need them. $969 million is being allocated for these services. One of the things I'm most excited about with this new budget is that our investments are designed to extend opportunity and help all of our neighborhoods thrive, including here on the south side of Columbus. We've got more than $115 million worth of projects in the pipeline just for this neighborhood. Projects that have been identified and developed in direct consultation with those who call this area home. Our neighbors on the south side have been crucial to our ability to prioritize and pursue these projects with the greatest capacity to repair aging infrastructure, implement safety improvements, and enhance the quality of our parks, pools, and other amenities that make Columbus neighborhoods so special. I was here, as I mentioned, at Marion Franklin for several different meetings over the last year or so, and then just most recently, a couple weeks ago, talking with residents, listening to their concerns, taking stock of what they'd like to see in future projects and initiatives, and integrating those ideas into the budget we presented. Here are a few examples of what we've got planned for the South Side. $86 million for utilities like water, sewer, and storm water upgrades, as well as street lighting, improvements and expansions in several parts of this neighborhood. Nearly $6 million for roadways, sidewalk, and streetscaping projects to make this area as safe as possible for motorists and pedestrians alike. As part of that, there's $300,000 for beautification efforts in the 104 Lockbourne Road area, going south to Watkins Road. There's also $1 million for design and right-of-way funding for the Marion Franklin Sidewalk Project. This involves installing sidewalks on Moundview Avenue, Augment Avenue, and Clairfield Avenue from Groveport Road to Fairwood Avenue. And another mobility initiative that we'll be working on this year is the installation of a flashing pedestrian crosswalk near the intersection of Obetz and South Point Boulevard. As Director Reese mentioned, there's more than $3 million for improvements to Marion Franklin Community Center, its park and its pool, and Fairwood, Lincoln, and Deschler parks as well. To summarize quickly, that's $1 million for improvements to Marion Franklin Park and the community center, $778,000 for pool design at Marion Franklin, $20,000 for a design contract to install more lighting to light up Fairwood Park, $75,000 to design enhancements at Lincoln Park, including a pedestrian trail, a lot resurfacing, and drainage improvements capable of accommodating future amenities, and approximately $20,000 for a design contract at Deschler Park, namely for the construction of an open-air shelter and parking lot improvements. In just a few moments, Becky Walcott, chair of the South Columbus Area Commission, will speak to what these projects mean to her, her fellow commissioners, and her neighbors. But to make no mistake, this budget and all the neighborhood investments contained within it wouldn't be a reality without the strength of our financial position, the integrity of our fiscal discipline, and our consistent and diligent stewardship of taxpayer dollars. This includes the city's sterling AAA bond rating from all three major credit rating agencies, which allows us to save millions as part of these projects by gaining access to lower interest rates. This capital budget is a team effort, without a doubt, spanning my administration, Columbus City Council, the city auditor, and so many others, to make sure that our city is well positioned for even greater progress and prosperity. City Council has been a tremendous partner in connecting with our residents to get their feedback and insights on the budget we've proposed. They've held both in-person and virtual budget hearings and incorporated those changes as we continue to put the final budget together. I say all the time that mayors can propose whatever they want, but it takes legislative action in our legislative branch to appropriate and make those things a reality. That's where proposals become a reality and make a difference in our neighborhoods through engagement, collaboration, and support. To tell us more about Council's perspective, please welcome a son of the South Side, Council President Shannon Hardin.
Thank you, Mayor. The mayor is correct. Council does have a big role to play, but that is made so much easier because of the strong budget proposal that the mayor has submitted to council in coordination with his departments, and we really do appreciate that collaboration. We would be remiss to be on the South Side and not recognize one of our South Side community leaders that passed recently, Mom Eubanks. We just want to keep the Eubanks family, Miss Sheila, lifted in prayer, but all those on the South Side who knew Miss Eubanks, and to all the other community leaders here, Miss Becky, to Mr. Patterson, and all those who, truthfully, on the South Side, we really do believe in the adage, it takes a village to raise a child. So all those folks who poured into me and to the many young people that call the South Side, and specifically the Southfield community, home. Again, thank you, Mayor, directors. I want to thank my colleagues on Columbus City Council. The capital budget can seem complicated, but fundamentally it's about investing in neighborhoods, investing in places for our kids to play, like parks and rec centers, investing in safer streets and sidewalks, investing in economic growth and new affordable housing. It is all about investing in making Columbus the best city in the country. It's period, point blank. But these investments are only valuable if they meet the actual needs of our neighborhoods, and we know how critical it is to hear from our residents on what each area of town needs. That's why over the last summer, or several months, city council members and staff have been actively engaged in identifying areas for investment as part of the capital budget process. As the mayor stated, we have done extensive outreach to collect input from residents. We know that the most effective way to do this is to get out and see areas that we're talking about. So thanks to and in collaboration with the finance department, we did bus tours with neighborhood leaders to physically point at that sidewalk that's not there now but needs to be there. We did this on the East Far East Side, the far Northwest Side, South Franklinton, and Central South Side. From that process, we were able to get more than 150 specific ideas of capital needs from our residents, and solicited 21 area commissions to provide their wish list that we have shared with the departments and asked them to respond to. Last week, we also held 2 public hearings on the capital budget on the north side and right here on the south side over at Scioto Southland Park, a newer one of our rec centers that have been updated. On Tuesday, we held a virtual town hall to share the general budget and to get more input. All along, we've also been receiving written testimonies and proposals from our residents, from neighborhood groups, and from other elected leaders and nonprofit leaders. So many suggestions, ideas, and comments. It's been incredible to hear the feedback. But part of any specific proposal or need, what has stuck out to us is that our residents, and especially here on the south side, care tremendously about their community. They are engaged, they are solution-oriented, and they are passionate about their ideas and their projects. So I want all those folks who have engaged so far to know that we take that input seriously. But I will also tell you that we've heard a lot about safety. Folks across our city all agree that we need more street lights and sidewalks so our kids feel safe coming home at night or when they go into school. Growing neighborhoods that need police and fire stations closer to them has been something that folks have asked for. We've also heard a lot about housing, not just how we need more for our growing community, but also other amenities that it takes around new housing to create a livable and dignified neighborhood, like parks and like pools. So going forward, as we near the end of this process, we're excited to get another year of projects queued up and projects going. We will be working with the mayor and his team to amend his final proposal to reflect what we learned from the extensive community input that we've received, and we'll be proud to pass this budget in the coming weeks. So I want to thank everybody again who has participated so far. We have listened. If council can do anything, it is to listen to the needs of our residents and then work with the mayor and his administration to make sure that they see themselves in this final budget. That is our promise, is that over these next few months or few weeks, as we finalize this budget with the mayor and his team, that folks will see their advocacy in this budget and the capital improvement plan for the next 5 years. Thank you so much. Next up, it is my honor to bring up the chair of the Far South Area Commission, Ms. Becky Walcott.
Thank you. Thank you, Shannon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Becky Walcott, and I am honored to chair the Far South Columbus Area Commission. And I want to welcome all of you to Far South Columbus, to our home. I'm joined today by fellow commissioners, my vice chair, Sheila Eubanks, president and area commissioner, original commissioner, Mr. Robert Patterson. Another commissioner that's here today is Lori Fisher, and that's just one of the many things Lori Fisher does for the community. We're here today to celebrate these upcoming improvements and to say thank you to our mayor, council president Hardin, and director Reese. Annually, we are asked for a list of needs in the community by the city. This year, Vice Chair Eubanks and I knew Marion Franklin Park had to make that list. We knew Director Reese understood the value that recreation centers and parks bring to any community when she said, when you give good people possibilities and hope, they can do great things. Director Reese has been a longtime friend of the Far South, and we've witnessed her hard work and dedication to our rec centers and our parks. So I knew her and her team would be up to getting our parks updated and get us what we need. Council President Hardin is tasked with taking care of the needs of an entire city. But we call on him because, yes, he is one of ours. Raised in the Far South area in the neighborhood of Southfield, he is always our go-to person. Sometimes, I'll admit, the demands we put on him are pretty tough, but he responds. Vice Chair Eubanks calls me one early morning in May and says, we need the mayor to come over for a conversation. I said, Sheila, he was just here, but go ahead, call the office. Mayor Ginther is no stranger to the Far South area, but I didn't expect to see him the following Saturday. He responded with, yes, let's talk. So on Saturday, May 20th, we greeted him and his staff with coffee and donuts and about 35 residents. We had a great conversation, a good visit, and talked about the needs of the area. Mayor Ginther understands neighborhoods are what makes our city strong. and he understands far South Columbus, like many other neighborhoods, are not without its challenges. As a result of these partnerships and the many, many conversations with the city, they have answered us with sidewalks for safe access, a large commitment of funding for a park and swimming pool upgrade at the Marion Franklin Park, which serves as the heart of the Southfield community, along with the funding to help with the streetscape for the new Columbus Metropolitan Library coming to the Marion Franklin Southfield community, just to name a few. And what we want to say today is how truly grateful we are for this commitment. We do look forward to rolling up our sleeves and getting to work, and we'll accomplish these tasks together. But first today, we want to say thank you to the leadership of Columbus for our neighborhood. So thank you.
Thanks, Becky. Thank you, Becky, and to all your colleagues, the great neighborhood community leaders. One of the reasons we've been able to make all of these, investments and efforts is because we have great neighborhood and community organizations, civics, the area commissions, great faith leaders here on the South Side, and it is so much appreciated, because that isn't necessarily the case everywhere. This capital budget is going to make a huge difference in the lives of our residents and for neighborhoods throughout this city. This $1.74 billion is going towards safety, affordability, and core city infrastructure. Great neighborhoods are the lifeblood of any great city, and these investments empower each of us to build upon the progress we've achieved and take the next steps in building a brighter, stronger, and more prosperous future together. Great neighborhoods are what make for great cities, and families are the foundation of any great neighborhood. And so really proud of the investments that we're proposing and that we're going to see made here into the South Side in the years to come. Be happy to take any questions. Any questions from the press? Yeah?
Sure. So you mentioned safety measures, thinking about what you're announcing now, or even with that $20 million for summer youth funding. How do you measure success?
Reduction in violence, period. We believe strongly in a comprehensive approach to making our community safer. We've seen success with that. As you know, in 2022, there was a 33% reduction in homicides and violent crime from 2021. There's been a slight uptick this year, and so we have to be vigilant, and that's why we've made historic investments. Council President Hardin and his colleagues, last summer, $16 million, this summer, $20 million. But our operating budget and our capital budget are all the number one priority you see in it is neighborhood safety. And so the capital investments we're making are going to impact and help increase neighborhood safety. Obviously, the operating budget with the summer youth programming, but also additional police classes, the expansion of Operation Moonlight, Operation Burnout, other efforts that are taking place. But we have to be vigilant.
Can you describe what that $5 million ATF situation is going to do?
Yeah, we're really going to follow the lead of Director Dettelbach and his team, but in essence, this would allow us to become kind of a regional intelligence center. So not only would it be Columbus Police using it, but our suburban departments and even the county and the state as well, and adjacent counties, to help learn more about. There's a huge amount of gun trafficking that takes place in America. So crimes that were maybe stolen in New York are used in crimes in Columbus. And we know there's a significant amount that have come through Columbus to other parts of the country as well. And so this investment will allow us to be able to better track, and our hope is to disrupt illegal crime guns entering in our city or leaving here and being used in committed crimes other places. So we're excited about that effort. Director Dettelbach is going to be helping to guide us with that work.
If you could pick, what do you think stands out or excites you most about this current budget?
I think what excites me most, and the council president spoke to this, is that there are many, many neighborhoods throughout our city that are going to see themselves in this capital budget. They're going to see things that are going to make life better in neighborhoods throughout the city. Unseen infrastructure, as I talked about, safe, clean drinking water is really, really important. Making sure your storm sewers and other systems are working properly is really, really important. But so are police substations and new fire stations, a new pool design, resurfacing of roads, all those things. And it's a way for us to invest in our infrastructure at the same time we're creating jobs. And let's not forget that 80% of the general fund for basic city services comes from income tax. And so people working good paying jobs help support our basic city services, more police officers, more firefighters, more public health and recreation and park staff. So everybody wins. It's a very long answer for one thing, but. Any other questions from the press?
Can you talk to us about Pride this weekend, large groups gathering? I mean, and a lot of it happening in the short north where there have been problems. Should people be concerned about being in that part of town in a large group? Are there extra efforts? I'm sure there are security efforts that you can talk to us about and not talk to us about, but what's going to happen this weekend?
Well, I think we're going to have a great weekend. I think we're going to have a safe weekend. It's one of the largest Pride festivals and parades in America, and we're proud of that. There are going to be people coming from all over the Midwest to join us, in celebrating Pride, and that we're a smart, welcoming, safe city for all. So the council president and I were briefed earlier this week by the Division of Police about their plans for the weekend, because it's not just Pride. We also have Juneteenth and several other events taking place in the community this weekend. But I'm very confident. But we all have to be vigilant, by the way. So I call out to the public, if you see something, say something. It may seem minor, it may not seem significant, but share that information with law enforcement and those that are, in charge of helping to make sure we're safe. We need the community to be engaged and be vigilant about this. But Council President, anything you want to say about Pride?
I have a 2-year-old son, and I look forward to marching in the parade with my entire family. Because of the briefing that we had with the mayor, everything that can be done to keep this community safe will be and is being done. And so to me, this will be the safest Pride that we will see. We will welcome in 700,000 folks to watch the parade. Tens of thousands of folks that will march in the parade. And we have to remember, we in Columbus do big crowd events well. We do the 4th of July, Red, White, and Boom. Every Saturday in the fall, we welcome 120,000 people to the campus at Ohio State University. So we do this well. And so we're expecting a fun, safe, celebratory weekend in Columbus.
The one other thing I would add is a newer addition that's expanded greatly is our dialogue officers. And so President Hardin and I spent some time with them this week, and then I spent some time with those that helped put that together. I'd really encourage the press to learn more about the dialogue officers and the great work they're going to do to make sure we're protecting folks' First Amendment rights, but keeping everybody safe at the same time. It's some really inspiring and innovative work that the Division of Police is leading. I encourage you to learn more about it. Any other questions? We'll stick around if you have anything else afterwards. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it, sir.
As always.
It was warming up for us.
It got warm.
Good to see you.